What's going on, friends? It's your main man Murder, back with you to take a quick look at the Tier 7 alternative line Soviet destroyer, Udaloi. Now, I don't know about y'all, but since we got a first look last month at the Tier 4, 5, and 6, I have been absolutely chomping at the bit to take this girl out for a spin. And we're going to do that in this video, but before we do, I do want to do a quick walkthrough on her stats and modifications, because there's some things here that are really important to point out. So first things first, she has Sure Shot and Nimble Aim, of course, which are going to give you those classic Soviet low trajectory, fast firing, accurate guns. The armor grouping, nothing real special to point out here. 20 mil across the vast majority of her structure. Going into the modifications, we went with aiming systems in mod 1, propulsion mod in slot 2, concealment systems in mod 3, and in mod 4, the main battery reload enhancement there. You're going to be able to afford to take a penalty on her traverse speed because we're going to buff that actually with our commander. The Udaloi, unlike her tech tree counterpart Tashkent, gets both heals and smoke, so you don't have to choose between the two. Massive advantage in that. Already starting to separate herself from her tech tree counterpart. Survivability, 21,460 hit points. That is with a Sims inspiration buff. Why have good health when you can have great health? Compared to the Tashkent, her guns don't have quite as much range. The reload's a couple seconds slower, but the turret traverse on them is quite a bit quicker. Torpedoes, you've got a 3x5. You get to shoot one rack off of each side the ship, and the third rack is an either or, so very similar to French torpedo arrangement. The reload time's 100 seconds, max damage 15,100, torpedo range of 8 kilometers, and the torpedo speed of 65 knots. AA defense, pretty average at 48, not too good, not too bad. Maneuverability, decent speed at 38 knots, rudder shift time of a respectable 5.3 seconds, and concealment, not the best at 6.1 kilometers, but a pretty Soviet standard, so to speak. Let's go ahead and jump into the commander build here. I am running Sergio Splendento on Udaloi. If you have him, I highly recommend you use him. Firm Hand, his base trait, will enhance your turret traverse speed. Very handy on Soviet destroyers. Quick Fix in mod slot 1 is going to keep those engine modules remaining functional in the event that they get shot out. Secondly, in skill slot 2, we're running Look at Me Now to keep that concealment at a respectable level. In skill slot 3, we're running Stand or Fall. This makes those guns more and more dangerous as your ship slowly has its health pool whittled away. Iron Shot in skill slot 4. This is going to greatly reduce the risk of your engine becoming incapacitated, as well as your steering gear impairment chance. So when you're making those retreating moves away from ships that you're firing at, it's going to really reduce your engines and your rudder's chance of getting shot out. Sidestep is another option here, basically trading away rudder shift for gun range and a little bit of fire dispersion. Now, because you ran Quick Fix to keep your engine going when damaged in skill slot 1, your legendary slot is freed up to run Rather Be Torching, which is going to give your HE shells a better fire setting chance when you're firing on battleships specifically. Your AP is so good, you're going to be able to fire that mainly at destroyers and cruisers. So this skill is extremely valuable when you're trying to burn down battleships at any point throughout a battle. For inspirations, we went with Sims to buff our health, and we also went with Halsey to buff the AP shell damage. Again, you're going to spend a lot of time firing the AP out of the Udaloi, so make sure you get the biggest bang for your buck, so to speak. So let's take her out for a spin. Here we are on the left flank, the north side of the sea cap on Sea of Fortune. There are 2 destroyers on the red team, a Leifa and a ZF6. They also have a P-Bag and an Edinburgh. The Edinburgh, of course, is the wild card here. We're not really sure if she's carrying radar or smoke. So that's kind of the wild card on the other side that I want to assess if she spawns in front of us. And indeed, she is going to pop up here very, very quickly. Now, what I like to do in these situations is get right on the edge of her theoretical radar detectability range. And I'm going to drop some torpedoes here just to let her know I'm in the area. They're also going to screen for DDs and just do some basic area denial. Sometimes I'll get lucky with one. But I'm trying to bait that radar out of her, so if she pops it, I can skedaddle outside of that 9-kilometer range. You'll notice I'm holding my shot here. And once I see my teammates engage with her, I'm just going to go ahead and start firing and do that from a smoke screen here. Again, I'm on that edge where if she pops a radar, I can pretty quickly get out of here. I'm going to open my firing with HE here so you guys can see the difference between HE and AP damage out of this. Again, with the Halsey inspiration, the AP is going to pack a major punch here. So firing at this broadside with HE, while it's doing some nice damage, it isn't going to do nearly as much as what you're going to see happen here with these AP salvos on this Edinburgh's broadside. Now, of course, I'd never fire this at her bow because that armor is so thick. But when she's nice and broad here, I'm going to do my best. Look at that big chunk there. That's awesome. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the P-Bag here, which is already pretty whittled down, and get a few nice hits here as well before she goes ahead and ends her life. That's going to be back to port for the P-Bag. And since I'm on 38 seconds of smoke, I'm going to go ahead and switch back to HE and start whittling down this Massachusetts. And might as well go ahead and drop a few more racks of torpedoes on her. Now, I'm not exactly sure what this gal's doing, but it's not the brightest move. I'm sure he's trying to get in there and get his secondaries going. He saw both of his teammates die in front of him. So he's just kind of on a YOLO mission from God here. But that's going to bode well for me, as my torpedoes are looking pretty darn good right now. I'm going to switch over to AP here just to show you what some deckline AP shots will do in the Udaloi. Again, decent little cracks, but nothing substantial. My torpedoes obviously are going to do the vast majority of the damage there, but I really like using HE almost exclusively on battleships in the Udaloi so far. So I'm going to do a quick check on the mini-map here, and I'm going to recognize that there's a destroyer in Bravo that needs to be dealt with. We've got a friendly destroyer right on the edge of the sea cap right now that's preparing to go in there and engage with, I'm assuming, the ZF6 because of the smoke I see in there. We also have that Leifa, who looks like she was over on the A cap based on how quickly that one was picked up for the enemy team. So I'm at a choice point. Am I going to go in here and support the endeavors on the ZF6, or am I going to come out here and address this Colorado? Ultimately, I kind of waffle here. I initially start heading towards Bravo to try to get some shots and engage the Z that we know is in there. But once I identify that he's retreating, I make a last-second decision to squeeze off a few rounds and then head back south to support the cruiser behind me and what his efforts are towards the Colorado and the Leon that's on the south side of Bravo. So I head down this way and really just start working to get my HE involved on both of these battleships. I know that I'm not going to really be addressed by any enemy destroyers down here, so I'm going to get a lot of free range shots on both of these battleships, which usually nets some pretty good damage. Now, because I've also got this Amalfi with me pushing south, I'm going to be able to slip into a range that's going to activate my rather be torching skill. What that's going to do is reduce my detectability time after firing. So if I need to go dark real quick on either one of these battleships that I'm firing on, the Rather Be Torching skill proximity feature is going to allow me to do that quickly. Again, just getting as much HE on both of these battleships as I can, taking advantage of the fact that this Colorado down here just went behind the rock in front of me. So just go ahead and start working on this Leon. I'm noticing that his guns are all pointing towards the north, which gives me free reign on him. If he does decide to change his focus towards me, which he is here in just a second, I know I'm holding smokes, which I might go ahead and pop, or I might hold them. We'll see what happens. This Amalfi is also holding smokes, so maybe she'll pop those here in a second. Let's get a few more off on Leon. I see she's getting whittled down pretty good by my friends. Yep, there's the Amalfi smoke, and there's a fire on Leon. So in hindsight, my decision to come down here was probably not the best. I just lost my destroyer teammate to the Leifa that's out there, and I'm way out of position to do much of anything about it. But I put myself down here, and now I got to make the best of a bad situation. So I'm going to go ahead and keep working on this Colorado. I'm outside of torp range, so I'm going to stick to guns and just keep the whittle happening here. I am holding smoke, so if for some reason I do get into trouble, I can always pop that. And hopefully that Amalfi that's with me is going to be able to keep spotting her while I'm burning her down with my HE here. So I want you guys to pay attention to exactly how long this is taking me and this Amalfi to burn down this Colorado. This is not a very good use of time and resources to have two ships committed to working off this one Colorado who's basically just kiting away from us. We started firing on this thing at about the 8.5 minute mark, and you'll see here that it takes us all the way down to what, the 5 minute mark before we actually kill her. So we were effectively taken out of this battle. Look how far south we are. We were taken out of this battle for 4 minutes, and now we've got to trudge all the way north to re-engage with the rest of the red team. And you're going to see here in just a second that our last two battleships we're going to lose very quickly. Please consider this video a public apology to everybody that was on the blue team in this game. I really didn't make a good choice by heading south down here, but I'm going to try to make the best of a bad situation. Hopefully this Amalfi is going to heed my command here and go and jump on that A cap. We're down by 300 points almost. There's only 4.5 minutes left in this game. We're probably going to have to kill both of these ships to get a chance. But I'm going to go in here and touch Bravo just to stop the bleeding. I'm located by the ZF6, and you'll notice that I'm not running either Twist and Track or Perceptive, so I don't have any idea where he's actually located other than just going off of the silhouette that he left on the north side of the C cap there on the mini map. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into B, and as soon as I touch this, I will notice that something is in Charlie. I'm guessing it's probably the Z. So that's welcome news for me at this stage in the game. I'm at full health, basically, so I feel pretty confident that I'll be able to push in here and engage him with a favorable outcome. The X factor, of course, is that Bismarck and his secondaries. So hopefully I can get in here, spot this Z, and see if I can't turn this tide. Yeah, because he's capping Charlie, I know approximately where he is. If he wasn't doing that, I wouldn't have any idea where he was. Okay, I'm spotted. I should see him here pretty quickly. There he is. Yep. Oh, and he's at super low health. A couple shots should do the trick. Again, these Soviet guns do so good from medium range. They're extremely accurate. Probably the most accurate destroyer guns out there. That low flat trajectory, you don't need to lead them that much. And here comes the Bismarck. Let's see if I can't drop some torps here. He's at super full health, which is not a welcome sign considering we've got 2.5 minutes left in this match. He's gone ahead and spotted me. I'm going to pop a smoke here and hope that some of these torpedoes hit. This is not ideal. He spotted me, so he can come nose in and probably not catch any, maybe one of these torpedoes. He's probably holding sonar. He's going to push my smoke and use that Bismarck sonar to get me located. I'm really not that much of a threat to him at this point. But let's go ahead and get this last rack of torps off and see if we get lucky there. My Amalfi coming over from Alpha really can't offer me much help at this point. We're down by 200 points. There's 2 minutes left. I can't really run and hide. I've got to try to stick this out somehow with the health that I have. Yep, there's the sonar. Yeah, I'm pretty screwed here. He's got me spotted. I have a rough idea of where he is, but I can't really shoot at him. Here go the secondaries. He's really just getting ready to mash my face into the headboard here. Not the best spot to be at the end of a game if you're in a destroyer. But I do have some torpedoes loading here in about 10 seconds. Let's see if I can't hang on for dear life and get a few racks off here. The proverbial Hail Mary, if you will. Now that his sonar's down, that gives me a little more wiggle room to go ahead and get these off. He's in smoke, so hopefully I can get these off and then go nose in on him. I'm going nose in here to both conserve health as well as give him the idea that I don't have any torpedoes to fire. I'm not really a torpedo threat here unless I've already launched them, which I have. Salvaged a win in a game where I took myself way out of position, but pulled it out in the end. Most importantly, you guys got a first look at the Udaloi with the Sergio Splendento build. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. As always, feel free to throw your questions, comments, criticisms down there in the comments section. And remember, every time you hit that like button, a potato dies. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. You will be alerted of all of my new content as I upload it, as well as alerts on when I go live, when I'm streaming on both Twitch and YouTube. If you haven't joined me for the stream yet, it's a really good place to meet other shippers and talk shop. For those of you guys that have joined me on the stream, it's been an absolute honor and a privilege getting to know so many of you, and from the bottom of my heart, I absolutely appreciate the support. Between now and then, we will see you on the seas. Murder out.